A few weeks ago, David Cage announced that his development team, which I don't remember the name of, is actually going to port the vast majority of its games to PC. And all of its future games will in fact be Multiplat. Not sure if they're coming to Xbox or not, but they'll definitely be on both the PS4 and PC. Which is very interesting, and it's stirred up quite a bit of salt from a certain group who... The PlayStation Legion are absolutely fucking furious because if you try talking to these people, they'll just spam you with screenshots of how good Detroit Become Human looks. And that's basically their only argument as to why the PS4 is even worth buying. And now you can buy it on PC. Granted, you have to use Epic Games for it, which a lot of people aren't very happy about because, it's basically malware. But if you're like me and don't give a shit about your privacy and have nothing worth stealing to begin with, I can play your fucking little interactive cutscenes as well. How does that make you feel, peasant? Oh, but enough ripping on those absolute plankheads of the PlayStation Legion for just 1 second. We can go back to laughing at them in a minute. We can have a little montage of them all getting really pissed off. It'll be lots and lots of fun. But now I'm going to explain why David Cage made this decision and what it means for the industry as a whole. Because that's fun. Well, it's fun for me. Not sure if you guys find that as fun, as, there's not really much room for jokes. But I find it intellectually stimulating. That sounded creepy. Unlike other kind of gaming commentary YouTubers, I prefer to talk about the industry as a whole and what kind of effects things can have on the industry rather than just, pointing and laughing at people with sort of similar interests to me. Granted, I can do both, but the former is a lot more enjoyable for me because, I give off this facade of being this half-insane sociopath, but I am genuinely... It's really easy to upset me. I will admit. It is really easy to make me cry. Okay, do you remember about... I have no sense of long-term memory. No, no, not long-term. Fuck am I on about? Give me a sec. I have no sense of time, so this could have been 3 years ago for all I know, or 3 weeks, but a while ago, Telltale Games actually went bankrupt. And, say whatever you want about Telltale Games, but sometimes their games are hit or miss. But when they do hit, they are fucking massively successful, okay? Everybody, I mean literally everybody, played The Walking Dead Season 1. And if you're telling me you didn't play it, you're either too young or you're lying. And when you have such a powerhouse in the industry that, like so many people bought their games, it was unreal. So, and they just up and disappeared. And they had a really specific niche. They made story-based, story-driven games with very little mechanics, and, you played for the story, you didn't play for the actual game. It was just pure... I consider it Let's Play fuel. So... when they went away, there wasn't really anyone else sort of in the market. They basically had a monopoly over it. And the thing about David Cage is that he was doing what Telltale were doing a lot better for a lot longer. So, and after Indigo Prophecy / Fahrenheit, he basically made PlayStation exclusives, well, exclusively, that I know of. I don't think he made any other... at least big titles for anything other than the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4. Like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, like the aforementioned Detroit Become Human, and a couple of others that I don't know of. Because, I'm not really that big of a David Cage fan. I played Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit was alright, but the other ones don't really seem to interest me. And I don't have a PlayStation anyway, so even if they did interest me, I couldn't play them up until now. And you probably have two questions. One, how come I can join the army at 16, but I have to be 18 to buy Call of Duty? And two, what's the point? Okay, I don't know the answer to one, but the answer to two, the point I'm getting at, is David Cage, like, he doesn't get enough credit. He's a lot smarter than people think he is. So he saw this big gap in the market, and he's deciding to insert himself and his development team in this huge chasm that Telltale Games has left behind. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if we saw a bunch of other up-and-coming developers making story-driven games trying to fill this gap in everyone's hearts, this big Telltale Games-shaped hole. There's Lee Everett-shaped hole in our hearts that Telltale Games has left behind since they went bankrupt, because they were pretty shit as a company. Not trying to compare these two in any way, shape or form, but after the opioid crisis, everyone was taking opium, and then they introduced heroin as a sort of way to try and wean people off opium. Then everyone just started taking heroin, and then they introduced methadone, and now everybody's just taking methadone instead. Not trying to say that Telltale Games are even remotely like fucking drugs you make out of poppies and inject them into yourselves. I'm just using it as a comparison of the sort of way people will get things. Like, if they're used to something, they will try and get similar things. And guys like David Cage are going to capitalize on that. So good for David Cage. Honestly, this was a pretty smart business opportunity. Business decision. Okay, so Too Long didn't watch. Okay, first of all, haha, fuck you console peasants, all of your exclusives are belong to us. And secondly, we'll probably see a lot more story-driven games, especially from smaller development teams in the near future. At least that's my prediction. And just a reminder that I was spot on about Fallout 76, and I'm probably right about 20 other things that I just can't remember because I'm sleep deprived. But yeah, actually, you shouldn't. I have to clarify that you shouldn't take what I'm saying as fact. But when it inevitably turns out to be a fact, you can come back and thank me then. Okay, yeah. Groovy. See you later. Special thanks to my 2 top-tier patrons, Stolen Dragoon and Ori Main, and all of my other patrons, and thank you for watching this immensely long video, which is like about 6-7 minutes long? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Download the Epic Store launcher and play the David Cage games if you've always wanted to play Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human or whatever. And, yeah. Make sure to share this video or David Cage will come into your bedroom at night and make you buy all of his exclusives. Yeah, that seems like a good enough threat. Or he might just bum you. I don't know. I don't know what he's into. A few things I should mention. Streaming games, and I don't mean like live streaming to Twitch or whatever. I mean streaming games from a console somewhere in some kind of database fucking storehouse somewhere to your computer is becoming more and more popular. There's the PS Now thing that Sony are doing, and they're adding more and more games to it with each passing week. There's that new fucking bullshit that Google are doing. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo hopped on that bandwagon too at some point. Microsoft have been doing it for a while with that games for Windows, although that's less about streaming games from an Xbox somewhere to your computer and rather just a direct port. Because, Microsoft own both Xbox and Windows, so of course there's going to be a lot of overlap. Well, it's pretty one-sided overlap at the moment, but you get what I mean. What do you want me to make a video on next? Because I don't particularly want to rely on talking about what's in the news right now, in the gaming news. Because honestly, relying on fucking games journalism for anything is going to be a massive disappointment. So if you have anything you want me to talk about, tell me in the description. I think I have a video planned about the big divide between consoles and PC in general just getting smaller and smaller. Because consoles are becoming more and more like PCs, and with emulation and the like, and streaming services, PCs are being able to act as consoles in certain aspects. And I think that's really fucking cool. I think the day when we can look at like the PS8 and a PC and not really be able to see any differences apart from, the PC not being owned by a company, I think that's going to be a really, really good day. So tell me what you think about David Cage and his games, or, consoles becoming more like PCs or whatever. Just comment whatever you want. I just need some fucking, viewer engagement, you know what I mean? Yeah, I need all of that viewer engagement, and so YouTube will actually recommend this video to other people, because I'm getting like 50 views a video, and that takes a massive hit to my inflated ego. It makes me feel sad, and when I'm sad, I can't be productive, so I can't make any new videos. So it's in everyone's best interest to make me super famous, you know what I mean? Also, you should just give me a like and a comment just for hitting the 10-minute mark. Do you have any idea how hard it is to talk about David fucking Cage for 10 minutes? Although, speaking of David Cage, I've been ripping on him a lot in this video, but I did actually make a video defending him and why his games aren't as bad as everyone says they are. Yeah, sure, they can be considered bad, but they're not like the worst of the worst. Like, the stories can be pretty damn engaging at some point. So check that out here. Even though this icon has been there for about halfway through the video, so for a good 6 minutes at this point. So check that out. And yeah, you'll see me in the next video. Sunny Jim.